Hey there. Right, I should be up and do I sound alright? Or is it choppy? Alright, do you mean I don't, I mean the music isn't loud, I'm trying to... Now? That's better? You're sure? Okay, that sounds okay. Okay. It has some issues, but now everything is good. Excuse me. Recap. On the ship, someone died, and now we have to investigate matters. Oh, the captain's gone.
Hello, Miss Mayers.
Alright, let's speak to her.
Do you think it's appropriate to go sunbathing in a situation like
Her
this?
hat is freaking
What
out.
situation?
A woman
Look.
was murdered last night.
If refusing to sunbathe could bring the dead back to life, I'd go back to my cabin immediately.
I'm sure your parents are truly sorry that they can't be with you at this difficult time.
Maybe, but I'm not a little girl anymore. And thinking about my fiancé keeps me going.
You're engaged?
Yes, my boyfriend and I got engaged right before the trip. I want to surprise my parents, especially my dad.
I'm sure he'll be very surprised. But what will you do if your father doesn't agree to the engagement?
What choice does he have when he put me on this boat full of thieves and murderers in the first place?
Charming. Did you hear or see anything suspicious last night?
No, I didn't feel very well last night. I went to bed early.
So, you're feeling better this morning?
Thanks for asking.
What the fuck? Hold on, no. What is this? Let's rewind. Because I feel like things did not get, are not okay. The captain was gone. And then fucking her hat was having a seizure.
Mr. Kreutzer, come on, you have to give me a bit more. You're the only one who was on the train and who has no alibi for last night.
As I said, I was in my cabin.
Are you sure that it was your cabin and not the Baroness's?
Legrand will question the guests, one after another. But if he doesn't get the answers that he wants to hear, it could become unpleasant for them.
I'll leave them be. Because there's not really anything to gain from them. But let's talk to Miss Mayers again.
Miss Mayers seems to have found... Hello, Miss Mayers.
Hello.
Constable, do you...
What? If ref...
Did...
No.
So,
Thanks.
I'm sure
Maybe. And...
you...
Yes?
But
What?
charming. Enjoy the sun.
If you're trying to make me feel guilty...
Okay, good. This is a budget game. Oh yeah, it's Halloween today. For another 50 minutes. Oh, the kid. His mom and the professor. Miss Miller and Professor
Miss Miller
Lucian.
and the professor are talking intensely. She seems pretty relaxed, by her standards. Good morning, Miss Miller. Professor Lucian?
Constable Zellner, how are you? I heard you passed out last night.
Well, not quite. I was poisoned.
Oh,
That wretch!
Who do you mean by that wretch?
That stowaway. That new raven.
The young man can't be the murderer. Constable Oliver had already apprehended him when the shot was fired.
You mean...
Whoever killed the Baroness is still on the loose.
I think I should take my leave. I'd like to rest for a while.
One last question, Professor. The safe in Legrand's cabin can only be opened with 3 keys. Am I right?
That's correct. We sent the first to Monsieur Mokhtar of the Egyptian Museum via air freight. I have one, and the inspector has the other.
But it was originally planned that someone else should carry the 3rd key, right?
You are well informed, Constable. Baroness von Trebitz should have had it. But then there were... concerns. And for that reason, Inspector Legrand took it himself.
Was that his idea?
Well, yes, you could say that. I want to go back to my cabin. I'll see you later, Mary.
oh, of course. See you later.
I didn't want to interrupt your conversation with Professor Lucien so abruptly.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Learning that there's still a burglar on board seemed to frighten him.
He was so relaxed the whole time, and then...
And then the stupid Swiss constable came by and made him anxious.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
No matter. I'm sure he'll calm down and come.
Of course.
Let me ask you some questions.
How is Matt? He seems happy enough.
After all the commotion, he's already back to his old self again. But I haven't told him about the murder. That would be a bit too much for him.
I think he's made of sterner stuff.
I want to thank you again for what you did on the train. I wouldn't have known...
Everything's fine. Think nothing of it. How was last night for you?
It was awful. I was having a conversation with Edgar, Professor Lucian, here on the forecastle. Then I wanted to look for the lady and went forward via the side deck. When I passed the Baroness's cabin,
What's
I
the
heard a
motto?
muffled scream.
You heard a
key?
scream?
Yes. I thought the
Oh,
Baroness
she had a
probably had a
scream.
fall. I went to the door and listened for a moment. Since I couldn't hear anything, I knocked on the door and asked whether she was all right. There was no answer.
Interesting. And then?
I didn't know what to do, so I tried to open the door. It was locked. I saw the Baroness's butler, Mr. Inch, on the forecastle. I thought he might have the key and went back. On the way, the bobby crossed my path, and then Edgar, who wanted to check the safe. I explained the situation to him, and then the alarm went off.
How did the scream sound?
It was a short outcry, very frightened, as if someone had been startled.
Was it a woman's voice?
Yes, the voice was high.
So it could have been a scream from the Baroness. Possibly because she discovered someone in her cabin.
Possibly.
That person might have threatened her with a weapon, so that she wouldn't scream for help.
Oh, God.
He waited until the coast was clear.
Oh, please, stop it, Mr. Zellner.
Okay. But, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking they might have tried to go after the key. But, from what I understand, the inspector already had the key before they went on the boat. Maybe.
The Baroness's butler said that he was on the forecastle as well.
Yes, he was standing on the other side of the deck smoking a cigarette.
Was he on the forecastle the whole time?
I'm not sure. He was there, and later he was on the side deck with us. Oh, yes, he looked after you while you were unconscious. He unbuttoned your collar and held your head while the doctor checked you.
But you can't say for certain whether he came from the forecastle with you and Professor Lucien, or afterwards.
Well, no. But where else could he have come from?
Did you report that to Inspector Legrand?
Yes, last night. He was very interested and took a lot of notes. But I wanted to look for Lady Westmacott, and he let me go without further delay. He said that he'd take down my full statement today.
I understand.
Do you think the man from the train also killed the Baroness, Constable Zellner?
I don't know yet.
It's horrible. Explosions, thieves, murderers. This isn't the right place for a lady and a little boy.
You and Professor Lucien seem to be having a lively conversation.
Oh, yes. He's an expert in ancient Egyptian art and preeminent in hieroglyphic research. He's the head of the Egyptian department in the British Museum, you know. And he's going to open an exhibition at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Right. For the eye.
They had planned on exhibiting both jewels together for the first time in decades, but that's not going to happen now, sadly. I think it's quite upsetting for him.
We're working
I can
hard
imagine
to ensure
so.
that at least one eye will be on display.
I know. I'll ask Lady Westmacott if she'd like to participate in the opening of the exhibition. I think it would be good for her.
And Professor Lucien will surely offer you a private tour. You're American, aren't you?
That's correct.
And you moved to England because of the job?
I lived in England before. During the Second World War, I volunteered. I worked in a pharmacy on a US base north of London.
In a pharmacy? Interesting.
Well, it was the war and everyone was sent where they could help best.
Please, go on, Mrs. Miller.
After the war, I studied music in London. I met my husband there. We married and went back to the States together.
He was also American?
No, English. But he said he had problems with his family and he wanted to be as far from them as possible.
And
Really?
you gave up your studies for him?
Well, yes, I did.
Yeah. You think she did it? Oh, the fucking cats.
Life as a single mother couldn't have been easy.
It was pretty tough.
No,
then.
of course
I worked from
not.
morning till night and it was still only enough for the bare necessities. And I couldn't give Matt all the attention he needed.
And then Lady Westmacott entered your life.
It was like an angel appeared to me. She must have offered me the position out of pity. I had no experience as a carer. She made me a generous offer. I couldn't believe it. And she really adores Matt. She's offered him a good education, and now he has every opportunity in life.
An almost unbelievable story.
I'm still afraid that it's a dream and that I'll wake up one day.
Really?
How does it feel to work for such a world-famous person?
The work is very interesting and varied, and it pays well, too.
You are very lucky that the lady
she works for
offered
her.
the position
No,
to you.
the
I just hope she won't
Baroness is
change her
someone
mind
different
one
from Lady
day.
Westmacott.
What would become of Matt's education then? I really make an effort to measure up to Lady Westmacott's
didn't.
expectations.
No.
But sometimes I feel like I
Only
fall
Professor
short.
Lucia
Lady
knew about it, and
Westmacott
he
couldn't
didn't tell
ask
her.
for a better companion.
I'm saving
If
up as
she
much
knows
money
about
as I
them, it's
can
only
all the
because,
same. I'd do anything so that Matt doesn't have to give up his new life.
Lady Westmacott dropped a hint on the train that she killed her hero, Partout. What did she mean by that?
Oh, she must have meant the manuscript.
Manuscript?
She always takes it with her. It's an unpublished Partout novel. I once asked her why she never published it. She said that according to her will, the novel's only to be published after her death.
And in it, Partout will be killed?
Maybe. I've never read it. No one has. You'd better ask her yourself.
I want to say that's what happens with, Hercule Poirot in the Agatha Christie novels, too.
If you worked in a pharmacy, you would certainly know something about medicines and poisons.
Everything is a potential poison, Constable. It depends on the dose.
Have you ever heard of chloral hydrate?
It's a tranquilizer, isn't it?
I'm asking you.
Well, Lady Westmacott also asked questions like that. For her last novel. But since I've never wanted to kill anyone, I never bothered with things like strychnine and arsenic and all that. I could recommend something for a headache, a sore throat, or a rash.
That's kind of you, but there's really no need. I'll be seeing you, Miss Miller.
Constable?
So she does have knowledge of all sorts of poisons because, yeah, she worked in a pharmacy during the war.
Matt is keeping himself busy with that strange game. He seems to be okay again, but I think he'd be running around all over the place if he'd really come to terms with what happened on the train.
Because why would she kill the Baroness? Yeah, she doesn't have a reason.
Hello there, partner.
Hi.
Are you all right?
Uh-huh.
Have you recovered from our adventure?
Mr. Zellner,
Hmm?
what's going on?
What do you mean?
Everybody's acting so strange, and there's tape across that door. I saw that in a movie once.
You don't have to be worried.
Is it about the man from the train?
It might be about the thief, yes.
Haven't you caught him yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
He's a little
I
frightened.
heard you and your mom used to argue a lot.
We did. Everything was bad. The house, school, the other kids. We didn't have much money, and I was always alone.
You do know that your mother would love to have been with you, don't you? She had to go out to work to earn money.
She wouldn't have had to if Dad were still around.
And how do you get along with her now?
I'm always happy when we do something together on vacation. She has more time for me now, and I like my boarding school. I have lots of friends, and the teachers aren't so bad.
Your
That's
mother
good.
and Professor Lucien seem to be on very good terms with each other. Don't you like him?
Don't know.
He seems to be very nice.
I guess.
Lady Westmacott is all by herself in the saloon. Maybe you'd like to visit her later.
Sure, the lady tells exciting stories.
I know. She's my favorite writer.
She told me that it's not much fun to write detective novels. She'd rather write something else, but her fans always want the same thing.
They made her rich and famous.
I told her to write what she wants to write. If it's good, someone will buy it. And if not, at least she had fun writing it. Then she smiled and nodded. She said it was a good idea.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened at... Pretty sure that's what happened to Agatha Christie, but I could be dead
What are
wrong.
you playing there?
I'm playing shuffleboard. At least I'm trying to.
Never played it before.
It's easy. Professor Lucien explained it to me.
And who won?
We didn't play.
You didn't want to play with him, did you? Do you want to play?
Sure.
Let's
I
see,
think
the
we'll have to
rules.
Okay, you play with the blue pucks and I play with the red ones. You have to push the pucks with this stick into the zone over there and score as many points as possible.
Sounds easy.
6. Now here comes the kicker. First it's your turn, then mine, and so on. But everyone is allowed to shoot the other person's pucks out of the zone.
Then let's get started.
Okay.
Oh yeah. What are we playing for? That's boring. We have to bet something.
You English people.
So I'll bet my brand new slingshot.
I don't want...
How about ice cream in Cairo?
Okay. If I win, I get the slingshot. If I lose, I get an ice cream in Cairo.
Hey! Never try to cheat Matt Miller.
Alright, let's go. Oh, that is way too far. Ah! Let's see. Fuck. Damn it. Let me try this again. 6 each, eh? One.
Rats.
Haha, that's one ice cream for me.
You've been practicing. This time.
One more time. Okay. Ooh, a 9. 5. $14. 20. Damn it. Way too far. Ooh. Alright, let's see here.
Oh.
I win. That's enough.
This.
Nah.
I have to win because I need the slingshot. Damn it. Ah. Little too far. Let me see if I can knock his out of the way. Okay, 11. What if he knocks it? Aha! 20. 30. 21. 36. Ah. 44. Yeah, I win.
That's it.
Oh man.
The athlete wins the day.
One more time.
No.
All right. Here, gambling debts are debts of honor.
I'll give it back to you when I don't.
Okay, but make sure my mom doesn't catch you with it. She thinks it's dangerous.
Okay, let's see.
If I had some ammo. It could be more co-op. No reason to I'll let him play.
What could I use for ammo?
I wonder what info. If I.
True. If it doesn't melt right away. True. Actually, what is this?
English ham and eggs. One advantage on an international trip is the international breakfast. Many of my fellow countrymen think it's outrageous to eat fried bacon, sausages, or anything heavy for breakfast. I, on the other hand, think ham and eggs are the only worthwhile contribution the English have made to international cuisine. Excellent.
Coffee?
That's just what I needed.
Huh. What would you consider a light breakfast then? I don't... I'm pretty sure cereal was around by then, but... Nope, I can't use the ice. Maybe in her room?
I'm sure that...
Oh, the pillow with the blood spot.
Better not. I guess our whatever his story is. I guess our stowaway knocked. Whatever.
Okay, nothing too crazy yet. It is way too late for that, dude. Just save your money for it now. We have food here. Oh, what about the stew? Oh, babe.
We're lucky that the Lydia has a well-stocked medical... I suppose it was...
Is it locked?
Neither Dr. Gebhardt nor but in contrast to good old Robert, the doctor doesn't let himself get roped. I wonder what would happen if Legrand dragged him out of... Dr. Gebhardt locked the door, and until I have... Something tells me that... Legrand locked the door. The lock isn't especially secure. If I had a wire or something like that, I could probably pick it.
Wire?
Another
That is one weird cat. Doesn't look like anything I... Let me see, maybe upstairs?
There's dirt piled
The
up in the
corner.
corner. Down below where the passengers are, the ship is pretty clean. I better let the men do their work. If one of them had detected... The bottle should be full of water. No way to...
Maybe on the side? Maybe he
I
can supply
wonder-
me with ammo?
No.
A little stuck, let's see. Wait a minute. I think I may understand what to do now. It is downstairs. I think I saw something, but I just want to be sure. The plant.
Aha, little stones. Perfect ammunition for the slingshot.
So now I have ammo.
The little stones make perfect ammunition for...
And now they are combined, so now I have ammo in the slingshot. So knocking it over will probably, I don't know, cause the guard to get upset or some shit, and then I'll go away for a bit, and then I can go downstairs.
All right.
Ow! 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 Ah! Hey,
That was a
so,
glass
what
bottle?
in places was that?
What?
Something hit me!
You mean someone shot at you?
Yes, well, no. I don't know. Didn't you notice anything?
I was riveted by the fantastic view. We Swiss aren't used to seeing the horizon like this.
Yeah, what?
And my bottle's
A
broken too.
literal bottle
Oh, I don't believe
of
this.
water. It's broken and you just went back to sleep?
The bottle is nothing more. If Constable Oliver gets thirsty now, he'll be in a good slingshot and
Do I need it now? Can I give it back to the kid?
Matt.
What?
Here's your slingshot back.
Really? Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay,
but
there.
you should put Constable Oliver on the list of people who'd better not see it.
I understand. Don't worry, I'll be careful.
Good man.
So now, if he's thirsty, he has to go get up. So do I talk to him then?
Ahem.
What do
Inspector Legrand is
And
It will be hours before he gets to the stowaway. We'll save time if I question him.
we'd also save time if you stopped asking me the same thing. What time is it, by the way?
Got an appointment?
No, but I'm hungry.
Go and get yourself something.
Aha. You could bring me something, though.
So, what do you...
Oh, anything. An apple.
There's ham and eggs in the saloon.
Can't touch him.
Why not?
Sergeant Mills.
Hmm?
He's responsible for the fitness of the unit, and he'll chew you out if he thinks you've packed on a few pounds.
I see. Leave it with me.
Yeah, thanks.
So I have to fucking get him lunch? Let's see. This cat is very interested in the TV. Wait, can I... Why didn't it let me... Okay, there, now.
Lady Westmacott, may I...
Let's see if she has anything to say.
Did Miss Miller cope with all the excitement?
I think so. But what happened on the train was quite a shock for her. She wouldn't be able to go on if something happened to Matthew.
She's worried about him.
He's all she has. It breaks her heart that he lives at a boarding school and can't always be with her. But she sets her wishes and needs aside so that he can get a good education. That's her way.
Where is
That's good.
Matthew's father?
Gone. Run off. Ran away from his problems again. He drank a lot. More and more after each setback. It's better for both of them this way.
He left her.
She couldn't have borne it. She loved him and wanted to stick by him. She fell out with her family over him. They couldn't understand her. And when he left her, the ground opened up beneath her feet. For 2 weeks, she was as good as dead. If she didn't have Matthew, she'd be dead.
You seem to know a lot about it. I mean, about the time before Miss Miller began working for you.
I have my reasons.
And Matthew, do you care as deeply about the children of your other employees?
If you fail with your own child, you hope to do better with others, Constable.
And the idea to send Matt to a boarding school...
Was mine. Matthew idolized his father and blamed his mother for the fact that he wasn't around anymore. I was afraid the situation would escalate if he had to live on a country estate alone with his mother and some old people. I think I was right. He quickly made friends at boarding school. He's popular, well-liked, a real athlete according to his teachers, and his relationship with his mother has improved as well. He's headed in the right direction.
Miss Miller told me that you have a valuable manuscript with you.
That is correct.
An unpublished Part 2 novel. The manuscript must be worth a fortune.
Oh, it's not just any Part 2 novel. I wrote it 20 years ago, but it will only be published after my death. It's Part 2's last case. Maurice Part 2 dies.
You're going to kill him off?
I already have. And I enjoyed it.
Madam.
I was
Wow.
so sick of writing one Part 2 novel after another. I was keen to stick a knife in his guts. And so, 20 years ago, I did. Of course, I didn't want to disappoint my fans, so I let him solve case after case. But at least I was certain that he'd never escape me. That in the end, I would get him.
I understand.
Wow.
Let's just hope that this novel remains unpublished for many more years. How is the questioning going?
Are you implying that I'm an eavesdropper? The inspector
Excuse
is
me.
placing a lot of pressure. He's the...
Perhaps.
I'm
this is
forget
something
it.
that was
I'll
already
eat.
I have
Please keep me informed.
talked about.
I shouldn't bother. Her mind is...
Take something to eat.
Whatever Constable Oliver wants, he's getting ham and eggs. And just a pinch of salt for our friendly constable.
Oh, that's a lot of salt. It's gonna make him
Constable
thirsty as
Oliver.
fuck.
Huh?
Ham and eggs, piping hot.
Oh, I shouldn't really.
I don't see anyone here who'd rebuke you. It was a hard night.
Yeah, true. Oh, delicious. Just enough salt. Oh, that was good of you. Cheers.
You don't expect me to wash your dirty dishes as well, do you?
Oh, of course not, Your Majesty.
Oh, shut up.
Could you bring me something to drink? Those ham and eggs were pretty salty.
I'm sorry. I have to proceed with my investigations. Goodbye. Let's see how long he can resist his thirst.
Not very long from the
Not
looks of
long
it.
at all.
The stowaway.
Nervous? I would be too in your position. Who are you?
My name is Adil, and you are...
Constable Zellner. Why did you sneak
Adil?
onto the ship, Adil?
I wanted to go back home.
You're Egyptian?
There's no work for me in Italy. I want to see my family again.
And since you don't have money, you stowed away.
So what if I did?
So, it was you who knocked me out.
Me? Never.
No? Where were you when I was attacked?
Well, I couldn't take anything with me on this trip, so I snuck into the kitchen and took some canned goods.
Interesting. And how do you know when I was attacked?
Well, I thought it was yesterday, shortly before we set sail.
I take this bump personally. What were you searching for on deck last night?
I was hiding the whole evening. I wanted to go out and get some fresh air, see the stars. But then suddenly, they were looking for me.
Were you in one of the cabins?
No!
Did you see anyone on the deck or on the roof?
No!
And after we arrested you?
The English policeman put me in this cell. Then he left. I've been here ever since.
And you didn't notice anything along the way?
No, nothing.
What about the gunshot? Didn't you hear it?
Yes, the English policeman had already arrested me. We heard a bang and looked around.
And then?
Then, the Bobby was in a hurry to get rid of me. He almost pushed me down the stairs and locked me in here. He left, and then a short time later, the alarm went off.
Constable Oliver wasn't with you anymore when the alarm went off?
No, I was scared that the ship would sink with me sitting here like a rat in a trap.
He got rid of his accent.
It's hard for me to believe a single word of your story.
Because I'm a foreigner?
Because you seem to have learned our language in the space of a day. Accent-free.
Believe what you want.
Who paid you to distract us?
What?
You went for a walk around the deck and let yourself be seen. Everyone goes off hunting you, and in the meantime, your partner shoots the Baroness in peace.
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't want to distract anyone. I just want to go home.
You're a liar, and a bad one at that.
But sir, I'm telling the truth.
And I'm the Raven. Inspector Legrand will deal with you. He's lying like a cheap rug. But he probably doesn't know anything about the murder. Very disappointing. So I have to keep searching. What interests me most is the shot that was fired here in the cargo hold last night.
So this is where the shot came from?
Whoever fired the shot hit the crate. Did the shooter just want to intimidate me? Or maybe he needed the bullet? Can't see anything. If the bullet is still stuck in the wood, it's too deep to reach with my fingers.
Let me see.
No, the bullet hole is too small for the tongs. The cargo hold also seems to serve as a changing room for the crew, at least for the ones who don't wear white uniforms. A stroke of luck. The lock is open. Oil-stained overalls. And here, an old toolbox. That's been through a lot.
And the toolbox.
Hardly any paint, dented, and the lid is held shut by a wire. I'll take it with me. Some wrenches, a bit of wire wool, an oily cloth, and here, a screwdriver. Well, I think the bullet is still in the wood. I'm not a weapons specialist, but at first sight I'd say that this bullet looks exactly the same as the one Dr. Gebhardt gave me for Legrand. That would mean that the murderer also fired a shot here in the cargo hold before the murder. But why? Did they just want to make sure the old guns still worked? Or was it something else? And did the bullet really come from the same gun? I can only check that in Legrand's cabin.
Any thoughts so far? It's very suspicious.
Somebody put the trunk back on the shelf. I can't tell whether it was our
See,
young
even he
friend
noticed
or
that.
someone else. It must be uncomfortable traveling. I could take one of the saws with me as a souvenir. On the other hand, it'd remind me of my bump and of my rather inelegant escape.
You know what? He probably did stow away in the chest, but just got out before Zellner had a chance to look at it. But I think that's it for now.
That takes the biscuit.
I noticed that the door was unguarded. I just wanted to make sure that everything was all right.
Tell it to Legrand. He's expressly forbidden anyone to speak to the witness before he does.
You were not paying attention. Let me see. Because I don't want this fucking dude to hate me and then, you know, I end up fucking not getting any backup or something. What do you think? What should I say to him? You know what? No. He left it unguarded.
All right, let's go to Legrand and tell him what happened. You fell asleep, and then you left the door unguarded. Well, are we going? Hmm?
No, but don't try it again.
Of course not.
Alright. I know what to do now. Now that I have the wire, I can use it to get into Legrand's room. So far, I have to ask you this. Who do you think is the biggest suspect right now out of everyone? Hmm? Yeah, he couldn't have done it. The kid couldn't have done it. Legrand, he was with us, I think, when it happened. Dr. Gebhardt couldn't have done it. The captain was mingling with guests the whole time. And as much as you put suspicion on her, Mrs. Miller was with, took Lady Westmacott to bed last night, kind of early. So who does that leave us?
The lock is
oh, and the
especially
Mrs.
secure.
Mayor.
Should be
Miss
able
Mayor,
to open
she
it with the
went to bed
wire
early
from the
too.
cargo hold.
So let's see, that just leaves Mr. Inch. Okay. So I have to bend it. Let's try this. Almost. That one's too tall. And the third one's a little too short. No, the third one needs to be a little taller. Wait, what? Okay. Needs to be taller, and that one needs to be taller. Almost. That one's inching a bit, so maybe... a little taller. What the fuck? This... Oh wait, no. I think I see what I have to do. The gap has to be fucking filled more. So they all need to be a little taller. There we go.
There we go. A lock, master and son. Tough to crack. If I wanted to steal the eye, I'd concentrate on getting the 3 keys. Neatly folded and unused. Legrand hasn't slept since we cast off, nor on the train.
So he has fucking
Legrand
not
must
slept
have
for a
taken
long
and
time.
developed the photos himself. He even made copies and enlargements. He seems to be prepared for everything, with access to more a microscope. Looks like the one that Lutz Reichinger uses in his pharmacy, just more modern. There's nothing on, and therefore...
Let me see, can I use the bullet?
Okay. I need the second bullet.
You're right. I'm trying to examine everything, but it won't let me.
Forensic teams use kits like these. They're placing increasing importance on the preservation of evidence. But not in Switzerland yet. It's a small lab used to conduct simple analysis on site. All right, what have we got here?
A brush.
Half of the tools in this box will be interesting for an archaeologist as well. Actually, forensics and archaeology are really quite similar to each other. The goal is to find out what happened, whether a few hours ago or a few centuries ago.
A shovel?
For forensics in the woods or the open country, I suppose.
Yeah.
No use on a ship. Fingerprints are overrated. Smart thieves wear gloves, or they make sure that there are too many fingerprints at the crime scene to check them all. I'm sure Legrand could work magic in this alchemist lab. Me, I'm just awestruck. What's this? Oh, how practical. A hermetically sealed cotton swab for collecting samples. I'll take it.
I'm gonna use it on the bed.
Good lord.
Oh, the
A
chemicals.
small glass bowl for mixing chemicals. A small...
Drawer.
Aha! This is some kind of inventory list. For each chemical, it lists the chemical composition and a short comment on how to use it. And here's a list of the most important procedures. Fingerprints, gunshot residue, blood. I don't have to analyze the pillow and feathers to determine whether there's gunshot residue. I can smell it. And I don't have any other clues at the moment. The booklet will be useful once... There's nothing written on the bottle. I suppose it's some sort of stimulant, legal or not. Legrand has been awake for at least 30 hours straight, maybe more.
So he's been fucking essentially taking crank to stay awake.
Legrand's file on the Raven, centimeters thick, but totally useless. We're not dealing with the Raven. Why can't he see that? Our man is ruthless, a bomber, and quite probably a murderer.
Sorry about that.
This file belongs in a museum. It's history. The inspector should concentrate on the present. This is the pipe from the cargo hold. Legrand seems to have inspected it for fingerprints. I can still make out the powder. No. Nothing to see on the end of the pipe that the attacker held. Either he wore gloves or he cleaned the pipe. Aha! That's the bullet the doctor removed from the Baroness's corpse.
Okay, now to use a second bullet.
All right. That's the proof. Whoever shot the Baroness also fired the shot in the cargo hold. What could that mean?
The photos.
Legrand must have taken them yesterday at the crime scene. Yes, that's how we found her yesterday. I think. I wasn't really myself at the time. Yes. The bed, the blood spot. The spot on the sheet is much bigger than the one on the mattress. There's blood on the blanket as well. A lot of blood, I'd say. The blanket and the sheet are gone. A rough diagram of the ship. Legrand marked the Baroness's cabin. Seems like he didn't turn up anything else of note. Shot in her sleep. She didn't feel a thing. She went to sleep and never woke up. This photo provides an overview of the crime scene.
The bathroom.
Another alarm. It was tripped at some point, but there's no way to determine when. Smells like chemicals. Legrand probably developed the photos in here. There are still fragments of the syringe that the inspector broke in the sink. Why is he pushing himself like this? Even if he catches the Raven, is it worth ruining his career and his health?
So he was injecting something into himself to stay awake? I saw pills, though, in that cutscene. Probably. So I'm gonna use the swab on the little spot.
I always wanted to do that. That should be enough.
So now I have to read the manual.
Wasn't there something about blood samples? Fingerprints? Well, it explains how to confirm that something is blood. That's a start. You have to mix luminol and a hydrogen peroxide solution and then drip or spray the mixture on the blood. The solution turns blue and glows even if there's just a very small amount of blood. Okay then, luminol and hydrogen peroxide. Aha! Luminol. And there's the hydrogen peroxide. I'll mix it with the luminol in the bowl. Okay. I can detect blood with this mixture. The clear solution turns blue if it comes into contact with blood. Okay, I am filling the pipette and putting it down very carefully. So, let's see what we have here. No blood. Not the slightest reaction. If I didn't make a mistake, and it wasn't that difficult, then the spot on the Baroness's bed isn't really blood. But if it isn't blood, what is it? And more importantly, why didn't Dr. Gebhardt notice anything? He was supposed to have examined everything. I'd say it's time to visit the medical center.
Anything to say to that, friend? Because I already knew it wasn't blood. Because, I mean... But his comment makes sense. The doctor would have noticed that. And the inspector, probably. So someone didn't notice things.
It seems impossible that Dr. Gebhardt could have shot the Baroness. He was with me when the gunshot ran out. But he must have noticed that the Baroness was lying in a pool of fake blood. Maybe he's covering for someone. Let's find out. It's probably for emergencies, in case a passenger falls down and can't walk anymore. Possibly due to rough seas, or maybe the captain's well-stocked bar. The sink looks like it's been cleaned recently. I can't say whether it was cleaned to comply with the hygiene regulations, or whether there was another reason. Interesting. A tape on a reel. The reel belongs to a much better player, like the one from the Baroness's cabin. I can't be certain that this is the reel that was missing from the Baroness's cabin, but it seems quite likely.
So the doctor had the reel?
A tape recorder from Sibling. Interesting. The reel in the Baroness... Maybe Dr. Gebhardt records the results of his... I guess the trash bin is in here. Right. Paper towels, plastic packaging, cartons, and... Hold on. What's this? A burst rubber glove. It's knotted, and there's a red liquid all over the inside that looks like blood. I bet good money that it's the same fake blood I found in the Baroness's cabin.
It's weird that he can't say anything about the Baroness herself. Let's see. Use the tape with the audio player.
Okay. Nothing. Strange. There. Very interesting.
It was a gunshot sound? So it wasn't even a real
shot is
gunshot.
audible on the tape, and the reel comes from the Baroness's cabin. Dr. Gebhardt will have trouble explaining how rubber gloves full of fake blood got into his trash bin. First, the fake blood he missed in the Baroness's cabin, and now this. It doesn't look good for you, Doctor.
Let me save.
That's proof enough for me that the Doctor is involved in this. I should report to Legrand.
It's time for the climax of the episode.
Time to pay Legrand a visit. No. No, no, don't.
Oh. I didn't use any hints, but out of curiosity, I used that. Yeah, I used that button, so I lost some points. Tied up and drugged.
Let me go. Why are you doing this to me? You and the Baroness. Dr. Gebhardt, I don't know. Don't you understand what you are forcing me to do? You don't have to. It is almost over. You won't feel a thing. I am sorry you have to see all this. I should have used more chloroform. Have to... Chloroform? I had it in my bag, just in case. You were supposed to be asleep. I am not a monster, you know? I have nothing against you. Nothing at all. But what can I do? You forced my hand. It's your fault. Yours alone. Why?
Why did he kill he killed the Baroness?
Why? Why did the Baroness have to snoop around? Why did you have to snoop around? And that glove there. You want to plant evidence on me, yeah? I left no evidence. There is no trail. And yet you can't just leave me in peace, can you? On and on. And what next? Heart failure happens a lot at your age, especially given your background. I am still considering whether I should throw you overboard. Don't leave evidence. No evidence. But what if I'm seen? was perfect. And then you ruined everything. A pair of scissors. Take it easy, Mr. Zellner. You will only hurt yourself. Shall we begin? It's almost over. I will. Are you okay?
Someone saved us.
Thanks.
A wet towel works miracles. I told you so.
Out with it then. What were you doing down there?
Inspector, at least let the constable recover his breath.
He almost killed himself.
Me? No. Dr. Gebhardt would have taken care of that for me. Where is he?
Gebhardt? He's vanished without a trace.
One at a time. Tell me, Zellner, what
Oh,
did you
he
find
probably
out?
fell overboard
Dr.
then.
Gebhardt killed Baroness von Trebitz.
If they can't find
Do you have
him,
proof?
Besides the fact that he wanted to kill me?
But wasn't the doctor with you when the shot was fired?
the shot came from a tape.
The shot that we heard was a recording. The Baroness had a tape recorder and good speakers in her cabin. Good enough to make the noise audible on the upper deck.
Is that just your suspicion, or do you have proof?
There's an audio tape in the medical center. The reel belongs to the tape player in the Baroness's cabin. And there's a sibling reel in her cabin that belongs to the recorder in the medical center. He recorded it in the cargo hold. His tape recorder has a microphone, and I removed a bullet from one of the boxes down there.
And it came from the murder weapon?
All right.
Inspector Legrand.
Let's pretend you're onto something. The shot we heard was just a recording. What happened next?
We all ran to the Baroness's cabin. She lay comatose in a pool of blood. Dr. Gebhardt pushed past you so that you couldn't get too close to the Baroness. He examined her and pronounced her dead. There was no reason for us to doubt him. The shot, the blood, the Baroness lying there lifelessly. But she was only unconscious, knocked out by the chloral hydrate that the doctor had poured
So
into
she
her
wasn't
glass
even dead.
shortly before.
He killed her later on.
In his hand when you came in.
He wanted to remove the evidence, but you gave me the glass instead, Captain DeConti, and unintentionally knocked me out as well.
Nonsense. There was blood everywhere. And the Baroness is certainly dead enough, isn't she?
Then who did shoot her? And when?
As I already said, it was Dr. Gebhardt.
Yeah.
He shot the sleeping Baroness in her cabin, barely 10 meters away from us.
What are you saying?
The doctor was alone in the cabin for a while. When the alarm went off, it was deafening. I couldn't even hear myself.
And I found a pillow with burn marks. Could have been used to muffle a gunshot.
And the blood?
The blood wasn't real. Dr. Gebhardt mixed up a liquid that looked like fresh blood to the casual observer, but the liquid remained red instead of becoming darker and browner from exposure to the air. That meant he had to clean the body and get rid of the bedding.
But the blood was already there when we first entered the cabin.
Dr. Gebhardt was in the Baroness's cabin before the murder. He hid a surgical glove full of the red liquid under her sheet. The Baroness, dead tired, fell onto her bed. The glove burst and the blood spread across the bed. I found the burst glove in the medical center.
But why did he do it? What was his motive?
Inspector?
I can only speculate.
I can only speculate. The Baroness spent the day rummaging through her old family photos.
No, no, no.
Do you have anything to contribute, Constable?
Confession, sir.
A confession?
Dr. Gebhardt was the Raven. It's all here. He
Excuse
admits
me.
to everything.
What does it say?
It says, "Do you still remember, my dear Nico? The streets were wet with rain and the scent of roasted barley and fermenting yeast wafted over to us from the brewery. A dog barked until your shot struck down the innocent one. After that silence, not a single sound except for my soft steps fading on the wet cobblestone street. They made a hero of you, and I, at last, found peace. At least until the urge returned. Some of us are not made for retirement, my friend. I thought they would assign this case to you, and that thought pleased me. We'd finally find out who was truly the better man. And it pains me now to have to admit that you and your little gumshoe got the better of me. You drove me into a corner, forced me to make mistakes. I congratulate you on your triumph, but no one will confine the Raven to a cage. There is but one way out, and that is by my own hand. Farewell, Raven Hunter R.
Inspector Legrand.
It couldn't have been him. I don't believe it. The note is probably real, though, but probably meant to throw him off the scent.
Inspector?
I was right. I told them all, over and over again. But no one would listen.
The letter.
What about the handwriting, the wording? Does the farewell letter match the Raven's other letters?
Yes, it's his handwriting, his words. I've read all the Raven's letters, all of them, over and over again.
I never thought it was possible. A resurrected Raven.
The Raven was never dead. I shot the wrong man.
But that man had the stolen goods, didn't he? So he must have been in league with the Raven. One could hardly call him innocent. You think that Dr. Gebhardt was really the Raven?
No.
The things Gebhardt describes in his letter aren't part of any police report. Only someone who was there would know them.
Couldn't there have been others involved? One of the police, for instance. What if one of them changed sides?
Why is it so hard for you to accept the simple truth? There was never a new Raven. There was only ever the old one. And that was Dr. Gebhardt.
The modus operandi doesn't match. The Raven was not a killer.
Legends are rarely what they seem to be, Constable Zellner.
It's often a question some people think about. What is a hunter without the hunt? So now he's probably thinking, what am I to do with my career now?
Then who was the man who was killed back then?
William Jackson, a petty thief, committed some burglaries together with his brother. Talented, but not world-class.
And they thought he was the Raven.
Some people thought it was part of his disguise. If you're a debonair master thief, what better disguise than pretending to be a common crook? From time to time you let them catch you pulling small jobs, and no one ever imagines you're capable of a major heist.
But you didn't believe it.
I had my doubts, but everyone congratulated me and those doubts were pushed aside. It was like being caught in a storm. But eventually the storm passed and my doubts were still there.
But not this time? No doubts telling you that Gebhardt isn't our man?
It must be him.
Where do we go from here?
We deliver the eye and then I'll contact Paris. A task force will compare all of Gephardt's known residences with the Raven's activity.
And if there are any inconsistencies?
You're welcome to keep an eye on the safe if you can't let it go. The ship will remain in Cairo for 1 day. That's all the time you'll have to catch your own Raven. I already have mine.
See, but that also doesn't really track. If he was the Raven, why kill the Baroness?
Ah, you're one of Legrand's men, aren't you?
My name is Anton Jakob Zellner.
You've come just in time. Grace, my dachshund, is missing.
There may be more important matters for me to attend to, Mr.
Director Abbas Mokhtar. And Grace isn't just a common dog. She's a purebred German dachshund, a champion.
So, wiener dog?
So, the exhibition will still open tonight.
But of course, everything has been arranged. The final preparations are almost complete.
But one of the two exhibits won't be there.
A terrible loss, a tragedy. That irreplaceable Egyptian cultural treasure has been stolen for the second time.
The second time?
What? Did you really believe that the Eye of the Sphinx was found lying on the banks of the Thames?
Inspector Legrand, Professor Lucien, and Constable Oliver are overseeing the transportation of the safe. They should be here at any moment. I'll have a look around in the meantime.
Do you think that's necessary? The Raven is dead, after all.
If you mean Dr. Gebhardt, his body was never recovered. Nor the stolen Eye of the Sphinx, for that matter.
It does us a great honor that the Inspector is concerned about us. But we have everything under control.
Legrand isn't as concerned as he should be. But I am. Is the museum closed?
Yes. Only carefully selected guests may enter the museum during preparations for the gala. And of course, you're one of them, Mr. Constable.
What can you tell me about the museum's security system?
One of the best on the market. And the second eye will still be exhibited in our special treasure chamber, which is extra secure.
Treasure chamber?
See for yourself, to the right of the entrance. The eye is as safe as the British Crown jewels.
I think I'll have a look around the museum.
Please do. There's a lot to see. And you let me know if you see Grace, won't you? I hope we find her before the great inspector arrives. Isn't it fantastic how he solved the murder on the ship?
Legrand?
Of course. It's in all the newspapers. The murder of the wealthy Baroness von Trebitz, and how the great Inspector Legrand identified the murderer in just 1 day. It's the stuff legends are made of. You should count yourself lucky to have the chance to learn from him.
What exactly do the newspapers say?
Everything. It's fantastic. Someone on board must have informed the press immediately. Of course, it's a great advertising for us. The reporters will queue up tonight.
And it was reported that Legrand found the murderer.
Of course. Who else?
Well, I wasn't exactly uninvolved.
Of course. Legrand surely has assistants, but honor to he who deserves to be honored. Right?
Well then.
Be seeing you, Constable. Grace! Here, Gracie. My sweetheart. Where are you?
Oh, Mr. Inch.
Mr. Inch. There you are. I am so sorry. Baroness von Trebitz was a good-hearted woman. She did so much for the museum.
As you say, sir.
And you? Are you leaving so soon?
I'd like to go back to my hotel. These last days have been such a strain.
First, you sneak into the museum without greeting me, and then you want to leave just as quickly?
I didn't want to disturb you, and we'll have time enough tonight.
Yes, you simply must come tonight. I wanted to present Baroness von Trebitz with a medal. Now you'll have to accept it.
Of course, if you insist, sir.
The Baroness paid for all this. Without her, there wouldn't have been an exhibition or a gala.
She was very generous.
Yes, she was.
If you'll excuse me now. Constable Zellner, I want to thank you again for all you've done. You saved me, you could say. My pleasure. See you tonight.
How far can I go in here? Oh, let's talk with her.
Miss Miller, I'm glad to see you here.
Oh,
there's an
Zellner.
echo in
I heard
here.
what happened to you on board. Awful. Truly awful.
All's well that ends well. You are waiting for Professor Lucien?
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow you'll be sailing down the Nile, if I heard correctly.
That's right. I'm sure it will be an amazing experience.
But you don't seem to be very excited.
Oh, but I am. It's very generous of Lady Westmacott to invite me, and especially Matty. He'll learn a lot.
But
Well, Professor Lucien offered to join us.
then Matt will learn even more. And I'm sure it won't be unpleasant for you either.
No, I just don't know how Matty would react if Edgar came with us.
I understand. I could test the water to see how he'd feel about it.
Would you do that? Oh, thank you, Constable Zellner.
Were you able to find out why Professor Lucien left the forecastle so suddenly last night?
No, not really. We only had a brief conversation. He was still very nervous.
He was like that on the train as well. Seems to be typical of him.
It must be something to do with the burglary at the museum. It really affected him. But he told me not to worry about anything. He said, soon this would all be over.
Really? How did he mean that?
Oh, I didn't ask him, Constable.
That's sort of vague, isn't it?
Are there other passengers from the ship here?
Oh, yes, we arrived as a group. David Kreutzer, the violinist, was with us. So were Miss Myers and Mr. Inch. He seems to have gotten over the death of the Baroness pretty quickly. He seems positively relaxed.
I've met him. He looks on the bright side of life, so to speak. Where is Mr. Kreutzer?
He's over in the treasure chamber. Maddie is downstairs in the main hall. I'm afraid I'll hear the sound of something priceless shattering any second.
Matt will be careful, Miss Miller. I'll continue my tour of the museum.
Oh, yes, there's so much to see.
Oh, you're here. See? You can look good with a fez on. Judging me for my hats. Yeah, he had a fez on. Ooh. Can I not? Hold on. I want to make sure that I see everything first. Is it locked?
Locked.
Yep. Just my wallet.
Ah, I've heard of this. Desert glass. In the great sand sea of the Libyan desert, there's a region where natural glass is found. Nobody knows how it formed. The valuable material was often used for jewelry in ancient Egypt.
From my understanding, sand can be turned into glass. Lightning, but yeah, but Egypt doesn't exactly get storms very often. But from my understanding, yeah, heat. That's probably another way about how that happened. Little tombs.
Several daggers in a row. Their shapes and patterns look timeless, elegant.
Do I sound alright? No? How about now? Okay,
What
good.
does it say here? The dagger on the left is a replica of the dagger from the tomb of Tutankhamun. It must have been incredibly precious during his lifetime because it's made of iron. Thousands of years before the Ice Age, meteorites were the only source of pure iron. So a star that fell from the sky, bringing a substance that's harder than anything they'd known before, would have been a dramatic event. No wonder they used it to forge a weapon for the godlike pharaoh. This is Akhenaten, the only pharaoh whose portrait I always recognize. He has a very unusual head. Akhenaten was the husband of Nefertiti and the father of Tutankhamun, a famous family. But he went down in history as the pharaoh who wanted to eliminate the old gods and replace them with a single god. The priests took offense, and he died of unknown causes. A figure of Imhotep, who comes in peace from around 2700 BC. The first polymath known by name. Godfather of medicine, architect of the first pyramids, and according to legend, the inventor of Egyptian writing. He certainly achieved more than me in his life.
I mean, I can imagine people being pissed about that. Imagining worshipping a group of gods your whole life, and then some asshole comes around and says, nope, no more worshipping all these gods. Only one now. Huh?
He was a legend. The Greeks called him a god. The Romans still honored him 3,000 years after his death. Even today, scholars offer a drop of ink to Imhotep when they begin a new project. Really impressive.
Huh. Anything else? Oh, what the oh. Before I talk with her, I want to check out the rest of the museum. Because I imagine I talk with her and more story stuff will happen. And him.
Ancient Egyptian jewelry. I like that golden signet ring with a scarab made of jasper. In ancient Egypt, these beetles were regarded as symbols of fertility. Nowadays, we just call them dung beetles. I suppose the beetles don't really care. I can't read what it says, but the cover features a dashing picture of Legrand. It shows an energetic young man photographed from beneath, against the sky. That's the look of a man who can catch a thief and murderer in a single day. Exclusive and unique. The eyes of the Sphinx exhibited together for the first time ever. Hopefully the visitors will be satisfied with a single eye. Otherwise, all this effort will be for nothing. Unfortunately, now it's just the eye of the Sphinx. But it's a bit too late to change the banner. That must be the treasure chamber where the Eye of the Sphinx is due to be exhibited. The display case is already prepared.
Alright, now let's talk to the lady. Oh.
Aha. This shows how the ancient Egyptians were able to move the heavy blocks of stone to build their pyramids and temples. They used ropes, wooden sleds, and poles as levers. These exhibits aren't originals, of course. They're reconstructed, based on old pictures. Nonetheless, it's impressive how they managed to build monuments like the pyramids with such simple tools.
Oh. Get an achievement. History fan. Let's see what she has to say.
Impressive, isn't it? Thousands of years old and still beautiful.
That it is. They dug it out of the sand near Thebes over 50 years ago. I was there.
Really?
I met my husband there. He was an assistant on the dig and was ordered by the director of the excavation to take care of that writer. I financed many excavations in the following years, here in Egypt and in the Near East. I visited my husband, together with our son. It was the best time of my life. But a museum is no place for nostalgia. What can I do for you?
What do you think about that? It kind of reminds me of, what does that remind me of? A husband, wife, and a son, essentially Indiana Jonesing, but much more boring and true to life. Does that remind you of something? Like a movie or a show? Because it sounds familiar.
You've had a long and successful life, Lady Westmacott.
What's that supposed to mean, Mr. Zellner? That I should be ready to leave the stage? Because I'm not.
Oh, I didn't want...
I'm here because life is here, Constable. Or was. I have never lived as much as I have here. No fame, no money can buy that.
I understand.
I'm sorry, Constable Zellner. Such an outburst isn't fitting for a woman of my age. And an English woman at that. Let's talk about something else.
I can't understand. Essentially because she cared about doing this at all is how she essentially started her family. Life's strange that way, isn't it?
Your son. You haven't said much about him. Or perhaps you did. Just not by name.
You're an attentive listener, Mr. Zellner.
I was wondering why you knew so much about Miss Miller's unhappy marriage.
I stopped paying his bar tabs. Stopped paying reporters to hush things up. He got to know her and went with her to America to start a new life. You can change your name easily, but not who you really are. He has my eyes, doesn't he?
The Part 2 novel is for him, isn't it?
If I couldn't provide Matthew with a good father, then at least I can provide him with a good start in life.
Do you get it now? Her son was a deadbeat, drunk, and Mrs. Miller is her daughter-in-law. And the novel, when she dies, will be given to him, so he can essentially either probably not publish it in his name, but publish it and, you know, bask in the wealth of the inevitable funds that come from it.
When I was working on the ship, I felt like one of the detectives in your novels.
You were lucky. It was an unusual murder. Most murders happen in the heat of the moment or are committed by idiots. They're uninspired. But Gebhardt thought it through. He could have succeeded.
I don't know. He made too many mistakes.
He couldn't have known that the Baroness, almost unconscious from the drugs, would lock her cabin door.
But that was a risk. The plan was too complicated and sloppily executed.
You certainly are a harsh critic, Mr. Zellner.
He could have shot her on the side deck and thrown the weapon into the sea. With no witnesses, no one would have suspected him.
How boring.
Or if it had to be a complicated plan, then he should have worked more carefully. Should have thought of everything, had a plan B in place.
Maybe he didn't have enough time. He had only a few hours to plan and commit the murder.
Still, he should have covered his tracks more carefully. The audio tape, the bloody glove, none of that should have stayed in the medical center.
You think it was planted? But yeah, why would he keep all that in there? He could have tossed all that overboard. So it's either he was an idiot or someone put it there.
Do you think that Dr. Gebhardt was the Raven?
Was? Do you think he's dead?
The letter sounded like he committed suicide.
There's your answer. Does that sound like the Raven? Being unmasked? Taking the easy way out?
My sentiments exactly. The Raven wouldn't commit murder, get caught, and then jump into the sea.
You don't want everything to be over, do you?
It's my chance to do something great. It can't be over yet.
At least you solved the murder of the Baroness. You're a hero.
That's not how the newspapers see it. Nor I. Something's missing. I can achieve more.
Careful, Constable. He who flies too close to the sun...
Is that the myth of Icarus?
To be honest, no. The story is Greek, and was only written down 1,000 years later. I was counting on the dramatic effect.
Oh, worked well enough.
How you say... So, I know it's going on a little long, but there's a good stopping point that I have in mind for this. We are getting there, don't worry about it. But once you see where I'm gonna stop, you're gonna be like, I wanna see more. So, keep in mind, the best is yet to come.
Let's assume that the thief is still out there. Who is he?
If all this were a novel, then it would be the one you least expect.
Is that intended to be a confession, Lady Westmacott?
What do we know about the new Raven?
He's a man who would stop at nothing.
Must it be a man? And how do we know that it's just one person? There could be several people collectively pretending to be the Raven.
So, we don't know anything.
That's not completely true. We know that he or she wants the Eye of the Sphinx, and will probably strike here, assuming he or she hasn't already gone.
It may be the end of the story for me, Lady Westmacott. Inspector Legrand will arrive soon and send me to the hotel. I'll return tonight for the gala. hoping all the while that the Raven does dare to attempt a burglary. Tomorrow morning, I'll have to return to Switzerland. What an unsatisfactory ending that would be.
It wouldn't be a triumphant ending, but it could be worse. At least you'd still be alive, Constable.
Will you attend the gala tonight, Lady Westmacott?
But of course, the antiquities, the delightful atmosphere, and who knows, perhaps there will be another spectacular burglary.
And your cruise?
The ship doesn't leave until tomorrow, and believe me, I'd cancel the cruise for this.
As always, it was an entertaining and enlightening chat, Lady Westmacott.
I'm going to miss our little chats, Constable Zellner. Goodbye.
Okay, the kid.
Ahoy, Matt.
The statue was talking.
The statue was talking?
Yes.
And what did it say?
It said it was...
That's a very bad word.
I know.
And an English one. Don't you think it's odd that an old Egyptian statue speaks English?
Don't you think it's odd that a statue speaks at all?
That would have been my next question. And, is the statue talking to you right now?
Do you think I'm nuts?
No, of course not. I just thought you might have much better ears than me. Ears that can hear statues.
Some cop you are, Mr. Zellner. This is a mystery, and you're just making jokes.
You're right. It's just...
Don't you believe me?
We both agree that a stone statue without a mouth or vocal cords cannot speak, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay. That means you heard something else. And we have to find out what or who it was.
Roger.
It's very interesting, isn't it? He keeps seeing things and hearing things that we just so happen to miss. Seeing a ghost on the train and seeing the statue essentially swear.
I'm almost a bit envious of you. Going up the Nile on a ship, it must be great.
Yeah,
I don't
guess.
think so.
You don't sound so keen.
I think my mom wants the professor to come too.
And you don't? You can't tell me.
What if Mom marries the professor and doesn't work with the lady anymore? We'd have to move to London, and I'd have to go to a new school.
You like your life as it is, and you don't want to change a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever thought about whether your mother is happy? The world doesn't revolve around you, you know. If you're unhappy, you have to do something. Sometimes you have to take a chance. And in that case, you need all the help you can get.
Do you mean Mom isn't happy?
I don't know. What do you think?
This will all be over soon. Then I'll finally have time for you.
We wanted to head back to the hotel.
Certainly. And tonight at the gala, I'll show you around the museum, okay? And have you made up your mind about the cruise?
Well, I don't really know.
Oh, come on, Mom. Who could teach us more about Egypt than the professor?
Then it's settled.
I didn't expect you to say that.
Well, Mom, sometimes you have to take a chance.
Well, who wants ice cream?
Me! Actually, Mr. Zellner still owes me some.
Oh, that kid. Alright, but they have moved the eye into the treasure area. Oh, I didn't get a chance to talk to the violinist. But oh well.
A great moment. Professor Lucien, your key, please.
Yes. Well,
Come on, Professor.
but you have to realize that...
Thank you.
Watch.
Finally. But...
Professor?
It's empty.
I wanted to give you this.
He had the eye the whole time.
Well, after the burglary in London, I thought the eye might not be safe on its way to Egypt. So I secretly took it when I was supposed to place it in the safe in London.
How dare you?
I felt that I should leave the jewel to someone I trusted completely. Myself.
But the jewel was safe. From London to here, no one had an opportunity to steal it.
I beg your pardon, my dear colleague. But if that were true, I wouldn't have had it.
Congratulations, Professor Lucien. You fooled everyone, it seems. The honor is yours.
So that's why he was nervous the whole time.
That's that. Shall I explain the security system to you, Inspector?
The French ambassador summoned me. I have to get in touch with him. The press is besieging the embassy, and I have to answer their questions.
But you absolutely must come tonight. The opening of the exhibition will be the highlight of the year, and you are my special guest.
I will see what I can do. Zellner, will you have a look at the security precautions? We'll see each other tonight.
Of course, but...
Wait, Inspector. I'll join you.
Well, here we are. The Inspector will answer the reporter's questions for the next few hours. And well...
I won't take up too much of your time. I'll take a look around and then go lie down so that I'm ready for tonight.
So the jewels that was stolen was the red eye, and the one they had was the green eye.
How is the display case protected?
It's made of bulletproof glass that's several centimeters thick. You'd need heavy machinery to open it. But even the smallest disturbance of the display case will set off the alarm.
Doesn't look half bad. A glass cutter wouldn't be much use. Is the display case anchored to the floor?
Why do you ask?
The Raven once stole a whole display case in St. Petersburg instead of just taking the jewels out of it.
Such an attempt would fail here. The display case is bolted to the floor and weighs several hundred kilograms.
What's in the other display cases?
Other valuable originals. The eyes of the Sphinx would have been the highlights of our exhibition. Now that we only have one left, it doesn't really outshine the other valuables anymore. This room is full of world-class treasures.
Sarcophaguses, headdresses, crowns, necklaces. True.
What's that?
Camera.
A camera?
The latest model. It's called video surveillance.
I've heard about that. The images are recorded and can be viewed again later.
That's right. Images from all three cameras are recorded in the guard room.
Wow.
As I've said, we've spared no effort and no expense.
Many people picture a stone coffin when they hear the word sarcophagus, but this one is wooden. As usual, an ornamental representation of the deceased is painted on the outside in gold and other colors.
You know, Thinking on it now, yeah, I always kind of thought that was the case, but it would make more sense for someone to be wood instead of stone. I mean, they'd have to transport them somehow, and I don't think they'd fucking want the slaves to be carrying around the stone coffin of their leader. So, well, what if they drop it and their leader's coffin breaks?
The gate. How does it work?
If the alarm is set off, the metal gate descends. The same thing happens at the windows and the main entrance. The thief is trapped like a rat.
As are we.
Next, I'll show you our guard room, the heart of the whole security system. And after that, I'll have to excuse myself.
Alert the guards. Then call the French embassy. Legrand needs to come.
Explosion?
Here, have a seat and try to calm down.
Yeah. Well, of course it would have been for the eye. The alarm went off, there's a lockdown. Hold on one second. Okay. You alright, man?
Director Morta? Director, how can I open the metal gate?
He shouldn't have done that.
Director.
All the artifacts in the treasure chamber. He destroyed them.
And I will bring him to justice. But first, I have to get inside. He's pale and shaking. Perhaps I'll get something out of him in...
I mean, yeah, dude, I'd be pissed too. Because what I'm assuming he did is he, placed explosives on the bottom floor, well, underneath it, to get it to drop, but the explosions probably, you know, blasted out and hit the other exhibits too.
Constable Oliver!
Don't move!
Put the pistol away.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Robert, be sensible.
Shut it!
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna arrest you.
Why aren't you in the embassy with Inspector Legrand talking to the press?
What are you talking about? Legrand refused to do it.
What?
He told the ambassador that he'd rather walk through the desert for 40 years than give interviews for 40 minutes.
The unless that wasn't the inspector. Mask, babe.
Is he dead?
Just unconscious. Perhaps he can tell us who knocked him out.
Excellent.
Don't act all innocent. It was you.
I was in the treasure chamber with the director. You, on the other hand, had every opportunity to take the guard out.
I found him unconscious. I wanted to open the gates.
And make it easier for the Raven to escape?
That does it. On the floor. Hands behind your head.
We have to open the treasure chamber's gate. I suspect there's a secret entrance.
No. We should open the main entrance and call for help.
Robert, think. The Raven is inside the museum, and so are we. We could catch him, but we have to give chase immediately. The two of us can finish it here and now.
You just want to confuse me.
Robert, I don't think you knocked this man out, but neither did I. I was with the director the entire time. Ask him.
That doesn't mean you aren't involved somehow. You could be working with the Raven.
So could you. We can suspect each other, open the exits, and offer the Raven every possible escape route. Or we can bring him to justice right here, right now.
He's trying to prove himself.
But just get this straight. I don't trust you. I'll keep an eye on you, and if you try to get away...
Understood. I'll try to open the gate to the treasure chamber now. I'd appreciate it if you'd refrain from accidentally shooting me.
No tricks, Zelna. And if we don't find anything in the treasure chamber, we'll open the gate at the main entrance and call Inspector Legrand.
Of course.
If that wasn't the inspector, then where's the real inspector?
What are you doing?
I was looking for this.
Keys?
Various bits and bobs for the office routine. Looks like even the guards can't avoid mountains of paperwork. Dead.
The line's dead. Could that have been from the explosion?
Locked. Blueprints for the museum. Every gate seems to be controlled by its own switch. This should be the gate for the treasure chamber. That's it. A monitor, probably for viewing the security cameras. There are 5 buttons down here. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. This should be the one in the treasure chamber. As I expected, it didn't survive the explosion. All right, how do I... Fantastic. That's me, with the director. Now it's getting exciting. What on earth?
You damaged it.
No, I didn't. Someone must have turned the camera off. Or... No, it's still recording, but something's covering the lens. There. That was the explosion. Interesting.
Why is it interesting?
Someone was in the treasure chamber, and they disabled the camera.
And?
And, just a few minutes later, the alarm went off and everything blew up. The burglar hardly had time to prepare a targeted explosion, right? One more reason to go and see what happened in the treasure chamber.
So, it was an accident then?
Maybe someone stirred something into the coffee and poisoned him with it. But the bump on the back of his head would indicate otherwise. There's nothing more.
Okay. Alright, let's get out of here then.
Constable Oliver can't honest. He must real, although he may think that I could be an accomplice. As could he.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm searching for a way into the treasure chamber, which is exactly what you should be doing.
I'll give you 5 minutes. Then we'll follow my plan. Open the main entrance and call for backup.
Let's hope for both our sakes that I find a way into the treasure chamber before then. I don't want to be responsible for the escape of the Raven. Do you have any idea how we can open the gate?
We've got to open the main gate and call for backup.
No, you gave me... Director Mokhtar, I can't open the gate. Is there another way into the treasure chamber?
No. Only one way. Only one.
If you would be so kind. No. That won't work.
I could have told you that.
I mean, hey, you had to try. Let's see. Wait a minute. Let's try this. Can I open this?
Locked.
Unlock it.
It fits.
Take the pole and use it to open the
Constable?
door. I'm pretty sure this pole isn't the real pole, by the way. It's probably a replica.
It's moving. No, not quite there yet.
Can't take these guys as sticks. Ah! Can I use this thing? No, damn it, let me get behind it. Flagpole.
That might help. All right. It has to work. Constable Oliver, could you lend me a hand? On three. 1, 2, 3! Director Mokhtar, hurry! Put something under the gate!
Huh?
Director!
The trash can.
No luck.
It won't open any further.
Put it down, quick! That'll hold it.
I wouldn't bet on it. We should hurry.
And inform Inspector Legrand.
First, I'll get an overview of the situation.
You don't think I'm going to leave you all alone with a jewel, do you?
I doubt that the jewel is still in the treasure chamber.
But how?
I'll be watching you.
Then you'll have to come with me.
If you haven't heard anything from me in 5 minutes, me, not Constable Zellner, then open the entrance and call for help. Understood?
Okay.
We're getting close to the end, by the way, of where I want to stop. Oh, fuck.
Whoa. Let's hope that at least some of the artifacts withstood the explosion.
Some of them look okay. Others...
Why didn't he just drive through the wall with a tank? Reckless ignoramus.
The cord?
The remains of the cordon. Give me some light.
Connect the cords and I'll use them to,
The clasps
hop
aren't
down.
really made for heavy weights, but I think they're strong enough. I suppose the camera was hit by a chunk of flying debris. Fortunately, the ceiling is quite high, and the gate was still ajar. Otherwise, nothing in this room would have survived the shockwave. It will take a long time to clean and restore everything, and some things are surely lost. Forever. Not the best rope. I let myself down into the hole with the rope.
You can't be serious.
This isn't a matter for discussion. I'm going down there. You can join me or stay here.
But you don't know what or who is down there.
That's why I want to go down there. Besides, maybe I'll find an escape route for us.
All right then. Should I hold the rope?
Yes, thanks. I'm down. Give me some light, Robert. Are you all right?
Yes, yes. Have you found an escape route?
I'm working on it. Shine the light over there, please. Interesting. Documents, maps, letters, all of them at least 20, 30 years old. I wonder how the Raven knew about the secret basement. He must have done some research and then paid someone for the missing information. Shine the light over there, please. A map of Cairo. It's covered with hundreds of small holes, and there are some pins on the floor. There's a date in the corner. 1940.
I'll be honest, something I don't really know too much about World War II is a lot of the campaigns that happen in Africa and, well, the Middle East, because there were campaigns fought there. But I have little to no real information on it other than they fought there. So this is probably leftover stuff from the war. Maybe hidey holes for Axis or allies.
What's that?
Hey, don't go too far away.
Come down and stop me, or stay there and give me some light. Interesting. Some kind of wooden hatch. There are two hinges on this side. There's a kind of metal hook holding the hatch closed. I'm the talking statue. I really like to teach bad words to the little boys. At least that riddle is solved now.
So someone was behind
and I
it.
suspect, yes.
Aha!
The Raven couldn't have gone this way. We'd have seen him and he couldn't have closed the bolt from outside. There must be another entrance.
Why is it suddenly so bright down there?
I found the light switch.
What are you doing here? You were just...
I found another exit.
The eye?
Gone. The Raven blasted a hole in the floor of the treasure chamber. There's a hidden basement beneath it.
And the other treasures?
It doesn't look good.
Oh, no.
Think of it also this way, he's responsible for all this. So, if he's just employed here, not really in charge of the museum itself, his job is gone.
Director Mokhtar?
Isn't it about...
I don't believe that the police have...
That monster is surely long gone by now.
Perhaps not.
Do your best.
Very well, Director. The basement below the treasure chamber. Did you know about it?
I had no idea.
There are maps and drawings from the Second World War in the room. Why?
Well, it might have had something to do with the resistance.
Resistance?
Egypt was occupied by the British. There was a movement for independence.
The Egyptians collaborated with the Nazis?
No, but the enemy of my enemy.
So, the rebels reported information to the Nazis, and for that, they needed secret command posts.
Yes, and what would be of more symbolic importance than the Egyptian Museum, witness to 5,000 years of Egyptian independence?
I mean, I'll be honest, back then, England wasn't a lot of people's best friends in Europe, and especially the Middle East.
Hidden rooms? Secret basements?
So I get it.
The museum was built in 1900 by a Frenchman who had a penchant for such things.
Mystical torchlight ceremonies celebrating the builders of old? Freemasons? Things like that?
Many great buildings have complicated histories.
And today, we're going to write a new chapter. It's going...
Where is the constable, anyway?
He's guarding the treasure chamber.
He told me to call for backup if he doesn't come back in about 5 minutes. And that I shouldn't trust you.
If you count on the constable, you're backing the wrong horse.
He's Legrand's man.
Did you ever think about the fact that he's the only one who was present at both burglaries?
Oh.
Various containers. Maybe they contained funerary objects. The lids depict animals and a person. The lid...
Zelna?
It is I, the Raven. No, I'm still...
Okay.
Oh. Let me see. Ooh, where is this?
There are cracks in the wall and scarf marks on the floor.
A secret door?
And probably the Raven's escape route.
Can you open it?
There are several panels and kind of a handle. But I can't turn or pull or push it. Something's written here, but it's too dark. Hurry down with the light.
No, the Raven is trapped. We should call Legrand.
I order you to hand me the flashlight immediately.
You can't order me to do anything.
What would Nicholas Legrand do in this situation? Would he wait for backup and twiddle his thumbs, or would he act?
Oh, blast.
Robert, this is our moment. Time to show them all. When the others arrive, they'll see that we didn't just dare to enter the basement. No, we also found an escape route and opened it. How do you think that will sound on the police report? Constable Oliver and Constable Zellner laid the foundation for the arrest of the Raven with competence and quick thinking.
Oh, that would be great, but no, we really should wait for Legrand.
Oh. For the last time,
Let's wait for Legrand.
do you think this door leads to a dead end? With every minute we...
But we should take...
What would Nicholas...
Oh.
Robert, time to... When the others... How do you think, Constable...
Okay, here's what we do. I'll hand you the lamp and you open the door. Then we guard the door and wait for backup.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
Right. Catch, but hurry. I don't want to think about the fact that I'm standing here in the dark surrounded by mummies.
That's better. That is interesting. 4 discs. An extravagant combination lock. If it was just another language with a Latin alphabet, I might be able to guess the meaning, but I'm lost when it comes to Arabic. I'll write them down. It could be a hint about how to open the door.
Probably have to Oh, what? Could talk to the director. I thought the game had froze on me. I was gonna freak the hell out for a second. Because I'm trying to also finish this quick too before it gets any later. This man walks with all the swiftness of a snail. Like, I understand he's older, but come on, man, a little bit more urgency, you know?
Director Mokhtar?
Yes?
I found this Arabic writing. What does it mean?
It says, the sons of Horus.
And that means...
Is this really the time to discuss history?
It's important.
The sons of Horus played an important part in the burial ritual. 4 sons, 4 canopic jars, vessels in which the liver, lungs, stomach, and intestines of the body were stored.
Are the 4 connected to symbols?
A man, baboon, jackal, and falcon. Look downstairs in the main hall.
Sons of Horus, vessels and intestines. Got
Excuse
it.
me.
Thanks for your help. Don't...
This is my music.
A man, baboon, a jackal, and a what? Falcon, thank you. Yeah, I see it from here. A man, a baboon, a falcon, and a jackal.
Must be the canopic jars the director was talking about. 1 jar for each of the 4 sons of Horus. Here we have Duamutef, stomach. The sign
Jackal
says
stomach.
Amset, liver.
Man liver.
Lungs.
Baboon lungs.
Intestines.
And falcon intestines. Okay, but how do I... Is that the baboon? Wait a minute. Oh. Secret door.
There we go. He's up there, Robert. I know that.
That may be. Go into the guard room and open the gates.
Tell the director.
Zelna, don't do it. It's too dangerous.
You can't stop me. Not anymore. 200 steps at least. And a ladder. I'm too old for this.
Are you ready to find out who was the Raven?
Left over from the war, if I had to guess. And why not? So high above the city is the perfect place for a secret radio installation. Must be unbearably hot up here in the summer, but it's bearable at the moment. I'd better leave it off. It'd probably just stir up dust.
Little side door. Can't examine it. The chair?
The chair is the only object that's not covered with dust. It seems like someone sat on it recently. Handcuffs. Not what I expected. Was someone interrogated here? Huh? The Raven, if I'm not mistaken. Why don't you step into the light?
Who do you think did it? Legrand, David the inspector, the violinist, the butler, the professor, or the missing doctor? I know who did it. Who do you think did it? No. Who is the least expected person you think would have done it? That's the person who did it. Someone who's only shown up just enough for people to notice him, but not suspect him at all. No, they didn't expect... He was no, it was not the inspector, because he was actively a part of everything. Someone who you barely noticed, and no, it wasn't the a violinist either, because they actively suspected him, so he couldn't have done it. You know who it was?
Mr. Inch.
Amazing. Truly amazing. I thought young Legrand would be
The
my most
butler.
dangerous opponent, but it seems I should have had more respect for age.
That's the joke, babe. It was the butler all along.
And the bomb on the train? Did you want to kill us all?
I knew that Legrand would be hot on my heels after the heist in London. He's a dangerous man, Mr. Zellner. He almost caught me once.
Is that a reason to resort to murder?
It wasn't my only reason. An eye for an eye, Constable Zellner.
What about the murder of the Baroness? Was that also your doing?
The death of the Baroness was never part of the plan. Dr. Gebhardt had a score to settle with her and got in my way.
You didn't care about the key to the safe?
I never wanted to steal the eye out of the safe. I always intended to strike here, in the museum.
What about Gebhardt's confession?
A nice idea, don't you think? It keeps the inspector out of my hair, for a few more hours at least, until everything collapses like a house of cards.
So, Gebhardt killed the Baroness. That was true, for his own personal reasons. But the confession was made up by him to throw him off the scent.
Why did you want to steal the second eye here?
The eye was in the bank in Zurich for a long time, impossible to get at. Then the safe on the ship in Legrand's cabin, too complicated. I heard about the secret basement and found out how the security system worked. I would have preferred to save my performance for the gala this evening, but, well, events demanded a change of schedule, not least because of you, my nosy friend.
How did you do it? How did you plant the message on the safe in the train? How did you know that Gebhardt killed the Baroness? And the demolition charge below the treasure chamber? How did you manage it all? Even if your arm isn't lame.
Oh, it is, believe me. I needed help, it's true. A messenger boy to replace my arms and legs.
A messenger boy?
It was the Egyptian boy.
Ah, Adil. This could be interesting.
From
He's quite talented,
the ship.
But unreliable. He has a mind of his own plans. Don't you, Adil?
I never wanted blood to be shed, but it's time to make an exception.
Empty.
He only forgot one thing. I keep things firmly in hand. Always. End of story.
And now, time moves back to the beginning to show you how everything went from the other perspective. Excuse me.
I told you not to get off. What if the train had gone without you?
So, you're taking a job as a ship's doctor.
I am excited but nervous too. I'm not exactly a champion swimmer.
If you wind up in the water on board a ship, something's gone terribly wrong.
What was all that in the museum?
That didn't quite go according to plan, did it? And I hate it when things don't go according to plan.
You nearly killed them!
You let them catch you.
It wasn't my fault. Scotland Yard was there.
If I thought it was your fault, you'd already be bobbing in the River Thames with a bullet in your head. Someone tipped them off. I don't know who, but I'm going to find out. Where is the jewel? Ah, marvelous. But it's just half the set, and stealing the second eye will be more difficult than I'd anticipated.
Why are we meeting here and not in Venice like we planned?
London drew more attention than planned. They put Legrand on the case.
Nicholas Legrand?
He's searching the train.
Shouldn't we postpone the plan under these circumstances?
On the contrary, I gave him an anonymous tip.
A tip?
I told him that the train will be robbed.
You don't seriously suggest that we steal the jewel right under Legrand's nose?
Of course, because I'm an idiot. Our best bet is still Cairo. Everything is prepared. Mr. X will provide us with everything we need. As planned, I'll go to Venice together with the Baroness and board the ship there. You'll do the same, but as surreptitiously as possible.
All right.
And under no circumstances can anyone be permitted to discover our relationship. Understood?
And the rest of the plan is as before?
We just have to get on board the ship.
Hasn't the Baroness grown suspicious?
She's wrapped up in a veil of alcohol, arrogance, and disinterest. Only flattery, gossip, and Belgian chocolate can penetrate it.
Ideal conditions.
I'll be glad to be rid of that old hag. She's my ticket to the most important museums in Europe. But these have been the longest 6 months of my life.
All right, then I'll get in the car and we'll meet in Venice.
No, Legrand necessitates a change of plan. You'll go by train as well, and place this envelope on the safe as soon as the train halts in the tunnel. I'll cause a blackout so that you can sneak past the guard. You won't believe who's guarding the safe. That blasted Bobby from London. If you have any trouble, cave his skull in.
And Legrand?
You take care of the letter, I'll take care of everything else. The most important thing is that no one recognizes you on the train.
And that I don't get caught. How are the injured guards doing?
How the devil should I know?
You didn't need to do that.
What? Save your bacon?
I'd have made it out on my own.
Oh yes, the poor security guard. It really wasn't necessary. I'm such a naughty boy.
I just don't want anyone to get hurt.
Oh, please, please, don't be angry with me. I won't do it again.
What's the purpose of the letter?
That's not your concern.
I'd just like to know whether I'm risking my life for some game of yours, or whether it's worth it.
Any one of my games would be worth your life. You just do what I tell you.
Wait, hold on. I just noticed something. He voices fucking Rufus. Oh my god, from Deponia.
Up after the blackout to make sure everything is in order. Understood?
Yes.
What?
Yes, understood. I don't know. We have the first eye, and we only just escaped.
Tell me you're not suggesting that we should be satisfied with that? One eye alone is nothing more than an expensive bauble. But both eyes together are a legend. My greatest triumph.
Shouldn't I put the eye somewhere for safekeeping? Just in case Legrand searches our things.
I'll hide the jewel in the Baroness's luggage. I already know where. Legrand won't dare search her belongings, and even then, he'll never be able to open the secret compartment.
Okay, so we'll see each other in Venice.
And not sooner. Here, take your travel documents. We may not have an opportunity to meet in Venice.
Okay.
So that was his that dropped in the train.
Huh. That's the first change of plans so far. Whatever. Looks like I'll be going to Venice by train.
Alright. And that is the end for now. What did you think of that? The twists and the turns? That it's supposed to be a joke. And it's also technically not the butler, too. It's the butler... Oh, excuse me. And the boy. The brains and... I wouldn't really call him the bronze, but he's the body, I guess you could say. Something like that. Anyways, this is the end. Not exactly a Halloween game, but she wanted to do more, and it was very exciting to see it all go down again. So next time we'll because I want to continue this, because I want to finish this game off and be done with it. So we're going to continue this, and then next time we'll continue with what the regular schedule. So thank you all for coming, and I'll see you later. Goodbye, and thank you to my beautiful wife for being here as always.